Although the villains of Sinners are undoubtedly vampires, the movie's characters reference Haints when first attempting to diagnose the threat. Director Ryan Coogler's Sinners has broken all manner of box office records since its release, as well as earning superb reviews. The widespread acclaim and commercial success of Coogler's movie is well-earned, as Sinners is a complex, rewarding, and daring blend of musical, horror, action, and melodrama that brings together many of the Helmer's earlier thematic preoccupations in a uniquely satisfying package. Although the ending of Sinners is as poignant as it is unsettling, the movie's main storyline is a slow-burn plot. For the first half of its runtime, Sinners plays out like a crime drama about a pair of brothers returning to their hometown to open a juke joint, only to run into racist locals, old heartbreaks, and other obstacles along the way. However, Sinners takes a wild swerve midway through when the juke joint is attacked by an Irish-American vampire and his two accomplices, turning Coogler's story into an intense siege horror. A Haint is a supernatural being in Southern folklore. Haints are evil spirits derived from African spiritual traditions. Annie, Wunmi Mosaku, and a group of people looking stunned in Sinners. Although Remick is the main villain of Sinners, the movie's most shocking moment of violence comes from Haley Steinfeld's Mary. Stack's love interest is turned into an off-screen by the villains, and she returns to the juke joint eager to find Michael B. Jordan's gregarious protagonist. She lures an unsuspecting Stack into a storeroom and seduces him before brutally tearing out his throat and feeding on his blood, at which point she is caught by the rest of the cast. Mary and Stack's unlikely survival after this bloody scene proves to the heroes that something is seriously wrong with both characters. A Haint is a malevolent supernatural spirit derived from African spiritual traditions that can, after escaping its human form, paralyze, injure, ride, the way a person might ride a horse, or even kill innocent victims at night. When Mary seemingly walks off a flurry of bullet wounds and Stack returns from the dead to attack his brother Smoke's love interest, Annie, suggests that Mary and Stack have become Haints. This term is never explained on screen in Sinners, but the movie's roots in Southern folklore make sense of the comment. As explained by Atlas Obscura, a Haint is a malevolent supernatural spirit derived from African spiritual traditions that can, after escaping its human form, paralyze, injure, ride, the way a person might ride a horse, or even kill innocent victims at night. How a Haint is different from a vampire. Vampires are undead humans, whereas Haints are spirits. Haints have their roots in the beliefs of enslaved people and the Gullah Geechee, but they're distinct from vampires. The spirit's description might sound similar to a vampire, but the vampires of Sinners are different from Haints in numerous ways. For one thing, vampires still have a solid corporeal form, as they inhabit the bodies of their now-dead selves. In contrast, Haints are spirits that can possess bodies but don't have bodies of their own. Meanwhile, vampires can turn humans into other vampires, as Remick demonstrates, whereas Haints don't typically operate this way. Furthermore, most vampires feed on the blood of the living to survive and cannot enter a home unless invited inside. Haints don't drink the blood of the living and don't need an invitation to enter a home, meaning there are other superstitions attached to avoiding the spirits in folklore. Where one might use garlic or crosses to deter vampires, Haints are scared away by a particular shade of blue that has become commonplace thanks to its association with warding off the spirits. Sinners' colors also referenced Haints. Haint blue is a shade used to ward off Haints. Haint blue is used throughout Annie's wardrobe and home decor in Sinners as a subtle way to hint at her familiarity with paranormal phenomena. The color was, according to Atlas Obscura, first derived from a dye produced on southern plantations. Painting a home, Haint blue, or handing blue glass bottles from trees was said to discourage Haints from entering, either by trapping the spirits or scaring them off. Haint blue was said to confuse Haints and convince them that they were traveling into water or the sky, neither of which would contain human victims to hunt. Unfortunately, the Mississippi vampires of Sinners aren't as easily defeated as Haints, and most of the movie's main cast end up massacred by the monsters. The use of Haint blue throughout Annie's wardrobe is pivotal in this regard, as it acts as an early indication that Smoke's love interest is familiar with voodoo traditions and Southern folklore. Thanks for watching.